Hey guys, long time no see, and now it's been a while since we've done a video. Sorry about the delay, I've just been busy with life and stuff and school and just a lot of personal stuff and just lack of ideas, but I'm finally back. I plan to make more videos coming soon, but I'm not gone for now. I'm not gone. I haven't quit being a YouTuber, I just had like lack of ideas and just like some personal stuff come up. But I'm back for real with a new video that I've been wanting to do for a long time. And you probably just saw the thing, but you know what this is about. I'm going to be talking about the Thoth Tarot deck by Aleister Crowley, painted by Lady Frida Harris. This is the medium-sized edition, I think. It's like medium. As you can see, it's got the purple box where it's like the large is like green and obviously larger, and then the small one's smaller, obviously, and then it has the blue box. This deck, also, by the way, for those that are curious, this is the one with the where it only has one Magus card, so it doesn't have like the three ones like the large one does. I think I ordered the large one a while ago. I'm still waiting for it to come. But I wanted to do a quick review of this deck since I've been using it for a bit of a while, and I guess you could say I've kind of switched from wider weight to thoth. I don't know, it's just, the deck's just really worked for me, really. I really like the idea of it. And I just like the images of it, like worry, strife, the tower, the Queen of Sword. I think that's what it is it? Yeah, Queen of Sword, yeah. Also, I like the backing. I like the backing. It looks like a cross. I like that. Science, oppression, cruelty. I think this deck is interesting. Personally, for me, this is just a disclaimer, but this deck was made by Aleister Crowley, and I want to say it was based on his Book of the Law, or Book of Thelema, something like that. I forgot what the name of it was. Honestly, don't really care for Crowley. I mean, I don't really have an opinion of him, despite any controversies he has. I just thought the deck was interesting. I'm not really that into like this whole like Book of Libero, Book of the Law, or whatever, or the Thelema. I don't follow it. I don't really believe in it or agree with it. I just think the deck is interesting, and I just want to try something new. And honestly, I think the deck's actually pretty alright. I mean, it does its job for me, like it reads for me. It does my fortunes accurately. It reads others good. You know, I've read people's fortunes with it. It's alright. I mean, card stock is pretty good. I mean, it's not. I mean, I wouldn't riffle shuffle it honestly, because I'd say it's about as thin as, say, maybe a Pokemon card or something, maybe a little bit thicker, but I'm definitely not shuffling it like I do my other cards. Definitely not riffle shuffling it. I'm just turning dark, I don't know why, but card stock it's alright, it's good. I like the card stock, I like the images, I like the labeling style. You know, instead of like say like here you go 10 of wands, you got, instead of just like 10 of wands, you got just light is just messing up, but you got oppression. Then you got 9 of swords, you know, you got cruelty, and then I'm assuming this one's like 8 of pentacles, 8 of pentacles. Instead of it being called 8 of coins or whatever, it's prudence. Oh, another thing is, I really like how this deck has like a lot of astrological symbolism to it. I'm super into astrology, so to have like a deck with a bunch of astrology symbols on it is really interesting to me. I really like that. I also really like how unique this deck is. Like, this deck technically has like 2 devil cards in a way, because like It's got the devil, and then it's got this one, which is supposed to be strength, I think. It's called lust in this one. That's an interesting one. It's got like this little chimera looking thing. And I guess this woman's like falling for it or something. Maybe it's maybe it's meant to be like the beast from the book of Revelation or something to that effect. I don't know. But yeah, this deck does have a devil card in it. Let me look. Oh yeah, and then there's, instead of a temperance card, you have art. I really like that. I don't know. I guess one of the things I like about this deck is that it's completely different from like all my other tarot decks. Like, you know, like with Rider Waite and Marseille. I mean, yeah, obviously those decks work differently and they're meant to be used differently. But it's like they're basically the same thing. Like, you know, you got like your Magician card, you got your Temperance card, you got all the 22 majors. Basically, same name, I guess slightly different artwork, but same thing. The only difference is like the minor arcana with the Marseille is like, oh, instead of showing like a happy family and like the 10 of cups, you just get 10 cups on a card. Whereas with this one, yeah, it's kind of similar like that to that. Like, for example, the 6 of cup indolence. It's completely different because it's like it has like a core meaning in a way, I guess, because you know it has keywords, and I like that. Honestly, think that's honestly, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I think this deck is perfect for beginners, really, or I want to say perfect, but it's pretty decent because it's like, yes, there is a lot to unpack and learn with the deck because you know all the astrological symbolism to it, like. But I just think like the whole keyword thing can help a lot. I mean, it's helped me a lot. You know, you got, well, let me show it again. You know, you got 2 of coins. I'm assuming there's 2 of coins in this one, but you got this one change. You got 2 of swords, or yeah, peace. Then you got the one on the top of my deck. You got defeat. You know, it's basically fitting for the 5 of swords, and then it's like for 3 of wands, you got virtue. I really like that about the minor arcana. I don't know. And then this one's like 4 of coin or something, I think. Completion, I guess. Let me look. I can't remember if this is like the equivalent of the Wheel of Fortune. Let me look. I don't know if it was, but that's just what I love about the deck, is that it's so different. You know, it's interesting. Cardstock could be better, honestly. It's kind of paper thin. Well, I mean, it's not like terrible, but it's like it could be better. Oh, I guess that's not the Wheel of Fortune. Okay. This is the Wheel of Fortune, card number 10. Yeah, and that's another thing, is it's not called Wheel of Fortune, it's just called Fortune. Focus. Oh. And that's just what I like that. It's different. It's like, I guess since I was so used to being a wide awake kind of guy for almost 3 years, I guess it's kind of like a breath of fresh air. Finding something that I like. You know, after just being so used to Rider Waite Smith style over and over and over. I guess that's just what I like about this deck, is that it's like a breath of fresh air. Oh yeah, here's 6 of cup pleasure. That's interesting. Also, what's actually interesting about this deck, another thing is the deck is actually pretty similar to the Rider Waite Smith, and I know some people may say, like, I'm not sure if it was meant to be similar to the Rider Waite Smith or if it was just a coincidence, but I say that because a lot of the spreads in the Thoth deck are kind of different or labeled differently. But for example, in pretty much all Thoth decks, they come with like a little poster of like a spread called the Ancient, like 10 card spread, which is basically just a copy of the Rider Waite Celtic Cross spread. So I'm not sure if that was meant to be like, oh, this is the Thoth is basically very similar or based on the wider weight or vice versa, or if they it was like taking inspiration of it. I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is like another thing that I really like. One thing that I really liked about this deck is that trying this deck after being a wider weight guy for so long, it has like that vague sense of familiarity, which helped me, I guess, bond with the deck more and connect with it more. On a side note, though, I really like the back design on it. The back design of the card, like the cross on it. I think that's cool. But yeah, it's just a vague sense of shit, the lighting's better, but yeah, I just think like the vague sense of familiarity. Um, what's actually interesting is this deck has multiple versions of it. Apparently, just like the White Smith, but there's a large version apparently where it's like green, but instead it's a green, and I guess instead of it's got like the Emperor's card on the back. Instead of that, it's green and bigger, but it has the Chariot card on it, I think. And I really like that. I really like that. I think any controversies with Crowley aside, I think the deck is nice. I think it's interesting. The imagery is something to look at. I'll say that for sure. I really like it. I mean, it does its job for me. I do a lot of self-reading, like reading my own fortunes for like advice, or because I guess you could say I'm kind of a worrier. I wouldn't say I'm like suffer from anxiety or anything like that, but I do. I guess one of my more toxic traits is that I'm tend to be a worrier, like a worrier, I guess. And so that's one of the things I really like about the thoth is that there's a lot of self-readability with it. Whereas when I tried to do it with Marseille, it just felt more like my Marseille cards just wanted me to read other people instead of myself. Whereas with the thoth, just like my White Smith decks, I can read myself with no issues. And that's another one of the things I really like about this deck is that, honestly, to be brutally honest, I think unless you really don't like Crowley, or the deck creeps you out or intimidates you, or there's really no reason why you shouldn't get this deck, or just personal choice. I mean, the deck, I mean, look, I'll be honest, like, it's good. Like, it's honestly a wonderful deck, and I honestly think if, say, all like controversies aside, I think if you can separate the art from the artist, I think you shouldn't nag yourself out of a good deck. This deck is actually really interesting. It's honestly, honestly, besides maybe my wider weight deck, I think this deck gives the best readings out there. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just something about it. Like when I first started tarot and I started learning a wider weight, I just got the meaning like instantly. Like I didn't even have to think about it. Like I just knew what the cards were saying whenever I was reading for myself or reading for someone else. And that's one of the things I really like about the thoth deck is that I'm in the same scenario. Like I don't even really have to think about it. I just like draw a card. Okay. Oh, I drew this card. Something cool happened to you, didn't it? Yeah. Or oh, I drew this card. Maybe this is like a warning that you should be careful. Maybe you're self-doubting or something like that. Oh, the power card. Maybe you should have more self-confidence in yourself. Oh, the Queen of Disc. Oh, yeah, Queen of Disc. You shouldn't take charge of your positive situation. Oh, the Hierophant. Yeah, make sure everything's in order. You have power. You know, it's just like that easily readability for me that I really love about this deck. And honestly, the only complaint I have with it is the card stock. Now, it's not terrible, but it is kind of flimsy. So if you do shuffle it, I would really highly go against riffle shuffling it because you are going to mess up the cards. You are going to mess them up. you know, usually when I shuffle them, I usually just like side shuffle, like this. Yeah, I like side shuffling. I do this with my Marseille cards too, since the majority of them do reversals. But I don't use my Marseille cards, honestly. I'm more of a weight and kind of a thoth guy. But this deck is honestly interesting, and hey, the maggots, my favorite one. It's pretty interesting. Speaking of the maggots, now that it reminded me, but okay, so remember how I said earlier, that's just how I shuffle them, but I'll draw some cards in a second. But one thing I want to say, I mentioned earlier in the video about the large thoth deck, where it's like big and it's green and has the champion card instead of the Empress. Besides size and box art, there's actually another difference between that one and the regular medium size version. The other difference is the Magus card. In this one that I have, I know some people may choose differently because of that. I may prefer the larger one because of this, but in the regular size one, there's only one Magus card, whereas in the large Thoth deck, and I want to say this might be another different Thoth deck, but as far as I'm aware, it's only the large Thoth deck. But in the large Thoth deck, instead of there being one Magus card, there's actually 3 different Magus cards. Now, I'm not 100% an expert on Thoth yet and stuff like that. I still am learning as I go. But as I'm aware of, each of these Magus cards in the large Thoth deck have their own different meanings. I could be wrong. I think I'm still waiting, but I'm pretty sure I had ordered the large Thoth. I ordered it on Amazon. I don't know if or when it's coming. I probably won't use it, and I will probably keep it sealed, mainly just, I guess in a sense, like the collection purposes. Simply because of the fact that I just don't see any difference or things. Like using it, I just don't really see any like gain I could gain from anything I could gain really that from using the larger one that I haven't already gained using the one I got now. There's also a Spanish version apparently, where it's like this one but in Spanish, which I'm interested in getting because I think foreign things are interesting. I also understand a little bit of Spanish, so it's like I think it'd be cool to have it in Spanish, and plus it's like one of my favorite decks now, besides Weight. So I think that'll be interesting. But I guess I'll end the video off with some personal takes and just some we'll flip through of the deck, and I'll also explain some things about it. What here? Flip this back. Sorry, my phone case has a stand on it. So let me actually just. Oh yeah, and that's another thing is if you're a big fan of like the fan method, where it's like, yeah, you can do that with the cards, but I guess I'm gonna do a quick flip through of the cards. While also giving my personal takes on it. Personally, like I said earlier, I really don't really have a huge opinion on Aleister Crowley. I know some people, he's kind of like a mixed bag. Like some people either love him or they hate him. Personally, I don't really fall in either category. I know he has controversies, and I know he isn't like I know he isn't a saint by all means, or by any means. Personally, I don't really care for any of his controversies, and I don't really care for like his Lima or anything like that, because I separate the art from the artist. In the same way, for example, I really adore the writer Wait, yet I don't really have that much of an opinion of like the Hermetic Golden Dawn or anything like that. I usually just separate the art from the artist, because the deck does this job for me. Like, it self-reads me good, it helps me read other people, it does that good. The art's interesting to look at. I'd say the thoth deck is one of the more visually striking tarot decks that I have, probably if not the most, in my opinion. I mean, I think if you can look past any controversies, or if you just don't care for like the whole story or whatever about Crowley or whatever, I think this deck is actually pretty good for you. You might like it. I mean, I will say I probably can't recommend it for everyone, because with the thoth deck, it's like there's a lot of things to unpack with it, to be honest. It's good. I think it's good. I mean, I guess, like, I forgot what I'm trying to say. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that the only things I really could see wrong with this deck is that, unless, like you say, the only thing that, I can't speak to, I don't know, it just doesn't make my train of thought, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that I think the deck is amazing. I think the imagery is fantastic and intricate. I think this deck really reads me and other people, like, in a way that my Rider-Waite Smith hasn't been able to. Not nogging on Rider-Waite Smith, it's still one of my favorite decks out there. I think, I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you can look past any, controversies about Aleister Crowley and like the Book of Thoth or the Lima, and then you might be able to look at like this deck. One thing I will say is that I guess depending on whether or not you'll like the deck is depending on what you're looking for. If you're looking for a challenge, or if you're like, say, like you're a beginner, like if you're looking for a challenge, then go for this deck. It is kind of a challenge. But if you're like a beginner or something like that, or you're not really trying to be like super into tarot reading and you're just like doing it like casually or like very lightly, or you don't do it often, then I would honestly say to skip out on this deck, because it's probably not going to see very much use. And I honestly don't. I think it'd be kind of sad if, say, like a deck was bought and it really didn't get much use, or like, because I mean, this deck is a really good deck. I mean, I think, like, I'm not trying to like guilt trip or anything. I'm sorry if I came off like that. I think what I'm trying to say is that this deck has the deck requires a specific amount of dedication and work, because there's just so much to take from the deck, like the imagery. It's not like Rider-Waite, where it's like you just recognize the images and then you're done, or like you just copy paste the meanings. With the Thoth deck, it's a loaded potato in a way. I don't know if that's the right term, but you're taking in multiple things at once. Like, you're learning the imagery, you gotta keep in mind the keywords, you gotta recognize all the astrological symbolism in the cards, and recognize how it coincides with that card, how it like matches the card. I mean, you gotta recognize the different spreads, and you really in a way, I guess in a way, you don't have to support him. Not what I'm trying to say, but you have to like understand like Crowley's like thought process when he was making the deck, and like, because this deck, I want to say a lot of the symbolism comes from his religion, Thelema, or Thelema, however you pronounce it. But so you kind of have to take that into account when learning the deck, like understanding like what his thought processes was. You don't have to support him or follow him, because like I said earlier, I don't really have that much of an opinion of him, nor do I really follow him or have any opinion of him. I just think the deck is nice. But learning, I'd say definitely for sure, learn up on the symbolism and learn up on the history before you get this deck, or as you're learning it, because I think that'll help a lot. There are some books. I think there's like 2 books I saw a YouTuber talk about in one of his videos, because I don't know if I can say his name, not because it's controversial or anything like that. I don't know. I don't want to seem like I'm shouting out other YouTubers, but there's a YouTuber who does like who reads a lot with the thoth tarot, and one of the books he recommends is like the Book of Thoth, which I guess is like a big guide to learning all the meanings. And I know there's like another book, I forgot the name off the top of my head, but if you just look up Tarot Thoth book, you would probably find it like right next to it. But I'd say look up on those guides, buy all those books, because honestly, the Thoth Tarot is a gigantic study. Like, you're gonna be like, it's not like Wider Weight, where it's like you just like work on it for like maybe like a couple months and you're like an expert. Like, I think with as much as symbolism and like lore behind the Thoth Tarot and like Aleister Crowley and all of that, I think if you're really dead serious about owning this deck and using it and being like hardcore with it, this is probably going to be like a many year long study. And so I'm just saying this, not trying to discourage anyone, but there's a lot to unpack with the deck, so it might be a long time study. But I mean, if you can look all past all of that and all the controversies, I think this deck is absolutely fantastic. I like the imagery, I like the wording, I like how there's keywords in the deck. It's really helped me a lot. I think the keywording is really what helped me a lot with the deck and learning it and being able to read accurately with it. But a lot of the modern Thoth decks are by U.S. Games Incorporated. I mean, that's the one that my deck is from, and that's also the one that the large edition is from, because you live at U.S. Games Incorporated. I'd say, I think this deck is absolutely fantastic, honestly. This deck is marvelous, and I think that you can't really go wrong with the deck. I mean, I guess it can be a bit really intimidating, because there's just so much to unpack, and it may feel like when you're learning it, you feel like you're being bombarded with many things at once that it's hard to keep up. But I think if you can look past like the difficulty, I think this deck will be perfect for just about anyone that really wants to challenge with the deck. But this was just like my little opinion. I've been meaning to review this deck for a while. I mean, I had the deck for like a while, but I didn't really get into using it until recently, like a couple weeks ago, and I've been having a blast with it. Definitely one of my more favorite decks, not gonna lie. You know, I don't really care for Crowley or his like religion, but you know, not nogging on him, but I don't have an opinion. I mean, I just think the deck is nice. But this is just my review, and if you like the video, like it, subscribe to my channel. I plan to become more active. I just haven't really had time, and you know, I just had like a lack of ideas and just stuff like that. Just stuff got in the way, and you know, I'm not leaving YouTube. I'm not doing anything like that. I just haven't had time. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys later.